forgot he's got a 5-minute presentation. Please be cool, stick around. I think this is a good wrap-up.
Yeah, because we're going to roll up all the way from roads to one state to all 50 states. So the question is, how do you visualize performance? The question we've got is, how good is your transportation system? Which really comes down to, where are you now and where do you want to be? So you have performance measures. And so ASCE has ranked the entire country and said, we score a D+. Get the full story. You guys are talking what Donna Wong said. So if you're really looking at what we want, now Florida looked at core measures and supporting measures, which is what we heard from Virginia, that there is a small set of measures that are very important, and then there's supporting measures that get more detail for the kind of stuff that you want to do. So in order to make better decisions, as Donna said, you have to tell a story that you want to show your data in a way that makes sense, and then see new insights, which is what our visualization community is all about. The question is, what are you doing? So what data do you present, and are you creating traditional reports or providing visionary support? So that's where we're going to go. So we've got some really cool new tools to be able to take from a high-level view and drill down to exactly the kind of information that people want to have to be able to answer their questions. So a very simplified version that we're looking for outcomes. So what are the number of fatalities? Outputs are the program results that you're using to help get there, and then the strategies that you're using to help implement those programs. And I could call that mega, macro, and micro, but that's a whole other 45-minute talk. Now, Virginia, what I appreciated was the Virginia dashboard is not just for transportation. It's part of a system for the entire state. So they're looking at the mega, macro, and micro. They've got scorecards. You can see down here that there's the 4 primary things for transportation, but again, part of a larger system. So really what we want to do is storytelling. You've got to simplify your message so that people understand it. You have to illuminate it so that they get it. You've got to motivate them to action, and then the data's got to be credible or it all falls apart. So how do we communicate data? We all know about traditional reports. We create a report. Now, if you take the summary one-page version of that, we can get a scorecard. We can summarize it so you can see it in, that's what the secretary wants to see. Show me the one-page version. Now, if we take that scorecard on paper and push it into an online system, then we can get a dashboard. And then if we can drill back down through interactive tools, we can really get the kind of data that we want. So I call those traditional reports on one side and then visionary support on the other. So you've all seen the Gartner Magic Quadrant that says, kind of ranks things. So I'm thinking, what does that look like for performance? Well, if we've got traditional reports down in this lower quadrant, and the more outcome-oriented your measures are, you can get to visionary support, that the more ability you are able to provide to decision makers, that becomes traditional support, and then we get to visionary support in that upper golden quadrant. So what I did is I looked at all 50 states, and all I'm seeing is the public side of things. So I'm taking a few minutes at looking at each state and ranking this. This is not completely perfect, so that's the caveat. But what I wanted to do is just take a couple of examples. So from Maryland, I found a great traditional report that they had online. I suspect they've got more things that I'm seeing. Florida's got what I would call a visionary report because it's got great outcome-oriented, but it's a PDF. Traditional support is Washington. Washington has been putting out a lot of great measures. Most of them are, paper-oriented, but providing good support. And then you've heard Virginia, so that makes my job a whole lot easier. So the traditional report, from Maryland, and I basically looked at what kind of things they were measuring, and so I did very quick versions of this for all 50 states. Visionary reports from Florida, so you can see the core measures and performance measures. and we're doing a little bit of telling the story, and we've got trends and performance, which are additional pieces of information that have been rolled up into quick dashboard types of things. The Gray Notebook from Washington is, again, a good example. They've got their major report that comes out. They have their light version, their kind of summary version, and a whole bunch of other things. Their reports are quarterly, so they're constantly telling stories, putting those stories in context and keeping it current. And then we've got the VDOT dashboard, and in particular what I liked is you start at a high level and you drill down to the kind of information. And I appreciated when they got started with this, they were having a lot of problems getting their projects done on time and on cost. And apparently through the dashboard, that raised, is like the police officer sitting out there, or the sign that says, how fast are you going? It got people's attention, and you saw results. So that's an incredibly powerful version of that. So the question is, do you want to provide visionary support to make better decisions? We want to tell a story, show the data, and really be able to see those insights. So very quickly, if the kind of Donna long part of, if you're going to tell a story, what is the problem? And hopefully you're providing solution independent. We're not trying to spin this. We're not trying to say, we've got the best solution. We're saying, here's a problem, and whatever it is that we're doing, here's the results that we get out of that. UDOT did a really nice job, Utah, of putting those stories out there so they know what we're trying to accomplish. Showing what matters, we need to know what is important, what is connected, what is meaningful. And this was from Oregon, again, just kind of a good example of what does that mean, and how they are presenting their information. And then you need to be able to see new insights, visualizing complex issues, overlying data elements that can actually be used for decision making. And that's what this entire conference is all about, is being able to do that. This is actually North Carolina's, which has done a nice job of actually being able to look at a county level data and kind of drilling down and being able to see that. So in the overlay information, yes, there's a lot of really cool tools, which is what we are continuing to explore here. So basically visualization is the way you can transform the way you actually make decisions. That's my presentation.
All right. Any questions for Frank?
So the scorecard for all those states is available somewhere? Let's see.
That's the very first time it's been seen.
Yeah, I can read the state names.
Yeah, you could. And with the caveat that goes with that, this is my personal opinion based on, just what I could find online. I do have to thank Washington because they have a library that you can go down and see what everything is. So that's what I looked at. In the very first session, I'm seeing stuff from California. So I didn't see that.
So it's Frank's ranks.
It's personal. And every time I look at a state, I move their dot. So I do think that if this idea flies, it could make for a very interesting research report that says there are actually criteria that could go behind that. What are your measures? How well, and if you were actually to do that in a, and take more than 2 days to do the evaluation, you probably would come up with a much better system. So, yes.
Slip them a few bucks after this and they'll take it.
Hey, you want me to? Very good.
All right, thank you all. We'll see you on the reception.